Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So 28-year-old Virginia resident Michael Adams was seen on the Capitol grounds carrying a longboard for some reason. He was also seen climbing the media tower that had been erected for the inauguration. And he stood on the scaffolding and shouted with the mob. Adams was then captured on video illegally entering the Capitol through the Senate parliamentarian door. That was right after another man bashed in the glass with a crowbar. The guy reached in, he opened the door from the inside, and everybody started streaming in. I've shared that video with all of you before. After entering, Adams went inside the parliamentarian's office where he was photographed looking out a shattered window. And at some point, Adams exited the building, but then he re-entered through a broken window to the left of the Senate wing doors. While inside the building the second time, Adams was seen on video entering the office of Senator Jeff Merkley. Eventually, Adams exited the building again. He had been inside for a combined 19 minutes, but he remained on the Capitol grounds for quite some time. Eventually, officers approached Adams. This was at almost 4:30 in the afternoon, and they ordered him to leave. He refused to comply. Instead, he walked around the building and he approached another entrance, and the prosecutor says that he remained on the Capitol grounds until well after dark. So Adams was arrested on April 22nd of 2021, and he was charged with entering a restricted building or grounds, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, and parading or demonstrating in a Capitol. Well, after Adams was released on his own personal recognizance, the magistrate judge realized that Adams had a warrant out for his arrest in Fairfax County, Virginia. So the judge ordered Adams to self-surrender by June 30th, and Adams failed to comply. He then repeatedly failed to show up for court dates. He was a no-show at his arraignment on July 8th of 2021, and he was a no-show at a status conference later that same month. So the magistrate judge issued a bench warrant for Adams' arrest, and he was considered to be a fugitive. Well, finally, on January 5th of 2023, Adams turned himself in. And in May of 2023, he pleaded guilty to the parading charge. Unbelievable that they let him off the hook like that. They allowed him to plead down to the least serious of the 4 misdemeanors after this guy was a freaking fugitive for a year and a half. It's unreal what they allow these people to get away with. Also, on January 6th, Adams was still under a 5-year suspended sentence for the sale and distribution of weed. So he had been sentenced in that case in March of 2019. And in addition, Adams was convicted of a DUI and sentenced to jail for 30 days in 2018. He also, they said, had 7 traffic infractions between 2014 and 2023. And in April of 2021, Adams fled the scene of an accident. He also turned himself in that case in January of this year. So this guy just is out of control, it sounds like. So in regard to the January 6th case, Adams was looking at up to 6 months in prison, 5 years of probation, and $5,000 in fines. But the prosecutor requested only 90 days in prison and $500 in restitution. Such a complete and utter joke. Anyway, Adams' supervisor wrote a letter to the judge, and he claims that Adams is a changed man. He said, quote, "I have seen him change in front of my very own 2 eyes. Words couldn't possibly describe his transformation, but he has found God, stopped drinking, and stopped smoking. He is thriving to be the very best version of himself, very successfully." Okay, sure. I mean, first of all, I don't get how he could have found God when he isn't in prison yet. I mean, everyone knows that's where he is. That's where everyone finds him. So, whatever. Anyway, U.S. District Judge Timothy Kelly presided over Adams' case, and at the sentencing hearing, he said that Adams' record is, quote, consistent with someone who's pretty off the rails. I would tend to agree. With that, he sentenced Adams to only 60 days in prison and $500 in restitution. I mean, okay. And this might not seem like a big deal, but for Judge Kelly, it really is. He is a Trump appointee. He would normally issue a sentence of probation only for this type of low-level offense. So for this judge, it's a pretty big deal. And if I'm not mistaken, he's also one of the few judges who doesn't believe in split sentences. That means he doesn't believe that you can order a sentence of prison time and probation when they plead down to only one misdemeanor. So, this issue is still being appealed. It's still being adjudicated and considered in higher courts. But Judge Kelly, if I'm not mistaken, was one of those who has that belief. So he most definitely, in any other case, he wouldn't have given him any prison time. He probably would have given anyone else a lengthy probationary period in lieu of prison. So in that respect, it's still a win, but I think it's still a pathetic sentence considering that he was a fugitive for 18 months. Anyway, I'll let you all know when I hear more about this guy. I just have a feeling that we're going to hear more. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe if you have not already. Please donate if you possibly can, one time, or become a monthly donor. Really, really helps to keep the show going. Greatly appreciate it. Love you guys. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.